So here we have the final video in our team series on the Buzz. This video will review the positioning for each of the 5 players in the defense, where they're supposed to be and what they're anticipating, what they're defending based on where the ball is on the floor. So we're going to start with 1. When the ball's on the point, 1 is forcing the lob from the point to the wing on his side. And when the ball moves from the point to the wing, 1 is still playing that same passing lane, forcing the lob back up to the point. Now, when the ball moves from the wing to the corner on one side, it is 1's job to get to the high post on the high side. He's playing that wedge where he is forcing any pass into the high post to be made towards the middle of the lane, where we will have other defenders who can look to intercept. Now, when the ball goes from the point to the opposite wing, 1's job again is to defend the high post on the high side, again doing the same thing that he would if the ball was in the corner on his side of the floor. And then finally, if it goes to the opposite corner, 1 is dropping into the lane, being ready to anticipate and intercept any lob pass into either the low post or the high post, and also any skip pass from the corner to the opposite wing or opposite corner. 1 as always needs to collapse and clutter on all the dribble drives from the point or from the wing on his side of the floor as well. Now we'll move on to 2. 2, when the ball's at the point, just like 1, force the lob from the point to the wing. If it goes now to the opposite wing, because we're going to see the ball move in the same way each time, he's the one who's getting to the high post and wedging. If it goes to the opposite corner, he's dropping into the lane. If it goes to his side wing, he's playing that same passing lane from the wing back up to the point. If it goes to his corner, he is the one who's dropping into the high post, wedging again. And again, 2 has the same dribble drive responsibilities as 1, so anytime the dribble drive is coming from the point or the wing on 2's side, he needs to be one of the ones who is collapsing and cluttering and forcing the ball back out. Now 3, when the ball is at the point, has his butt to the corner, so he is in a position that he can move to possibly intercept a lob pass over the top towards the low post. He could get to a lob pass into the high post and also be able to move or even anticipate and intercept a pass to his wing. And remember, 3 needs to gauge where he plays based on where the offense is set up. So if there was not a player in the low post, he could move a little bit higher up the court. If there is a player in the low post, he needs to make sure that he is in a position to where he can get to and tip or steal any lob pass into the low post. When the ball goes to the opposite wing, 3 is straddling the lane line. He's taking a step in. Again, he's ready to anticipate and intercept a lob pass to the high post or the low post, and potentially a skip pass to either the opposite wing or the opposite corner. Now, when the ball goes into the other corner and we get into a fire position, he is down in the low post. He needs to sprint on the baseline side to get a 3/4 front from the low side, force any pass from that corner to the low post to be a high looping lob pass that can be tipped by one of our other players. When it goes to 3's wing on his side, he is now playing the passing lane from the wing into the corner. When it goes into his corner, he's playing that same passing lane from the corner back out to the wing, and he is ready to attack if we get into a fire situation. So if that corner player tries to dribble drive, 3 needs to be ready to set the trap in fire with 5. Now, if the ball gets into the high post, 3 needs to be aware of any player that's in the low post, because it is now going to be his job to defend that player, because 5 will be guarding the ball and trying to force it back out. 4, exactly the same as 3, just on the other side of the court. So we can see that when the ball's at the point, he's got his butt to the corner, able to get to the low post, to the wing, to a lob pass to the high post. When the ball goes to his side wing, he's playing the passing lane now from the wing to the corner. If it gets moved to the corner, he's playing that passing lane from the corner back out to the wing, and again being ready to attack and trap if we get into a fire situation, if that player in the corner were to try and drive along the baseline. When the ball goes to the opposite wing, 4 is the one who is now straddling the lane, ready to tip or intercept any lob pass to the high post or the low post. When it gets to the opposite corner, and especially then when we get into the fire situation, 4 is the one who now has to sprint across on the baseline side, get that 3/4 front, and force any pass into the low post to be high and towards the middle of the lane. If the ball gets into the high post, just like we had for 3, 4 needs to step in towards the lane. And if there's a player at the low post, realize that it's his responsibility to have any lob pass into that player. Now, 5 has probably the easiest set of movements to remember within the buzz, because 5 is always on that line between the ball and the hoop. So when the ball's at the point, 5 is near the high post area. If there's a player at the high post, he is fronting. If there's not a player at the high post, he can drop back to just below the free throw line, or even a step lower than that, right in the middle of the lane. The ball goes to the wing. 5 is dropping to the low post on that side and fronting any player who is in the low post. The ball goes to the corner. 5 is still in the low post, fronting anybody who is there. And then if there is a dribble drive from the corner, 5 is combining with whichever forward, either 3 or 4 who is on that side, to call fire and set the trap. So now we see if the ball goes from the point to the other wing, 5 has the exact same assignment, drop into the low post, fronting anybody who's there, goes to the corner, he's still in the low post, fronting anybody and preparing for a potential fire call. Now, if the ball gets into the high post, it's up to 5 to know his game and understand the pass. If it's a pass that he can just jump up and tip, obviously get to it. But if it's a pass that he knows he's not going to get to, then 5 needs to sprint to get around that offensive player and maintain that line between the ball and the basket. Just because the ball gets entered into the high post for 5 does not mean that the ball gets to score. So again, those are the basic movements for players within the buzz, depending on where the ball is. The buzz can be a very powerful defense as long as it's played at a high intensity and as long as players know their assignments depending on where the ball is passed to or if the ball is dribbled in. So this is a video that players can use throughout the season if they just need to review when the ball goes to the wing, the point, the corner, and remind themselves of where they're supposed to be so that when they're in the game, they can be sprinting through all of their movements and be putting themselves in good positions to prevent good shots and, as always, anticipate and intercept any lazy lob passes.